Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy? Or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced? Frankly, it is expected, because when you push power, power pushes back. I didn't come to Congress to be silent. I came to Congress to be their voice. And my leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been. So take your vote or not, I am here to stay.
Let me start with something most people understand from real life, not politics. If you're trusted with responsibility, at work, in your family, in your community, and you repeatedly show poor judgment, that trust gets questioned, not because you're being silenced, but because responsibility has standards. What you're about to watch is a moment in Congress where that basic principle collides with modern politics. Ilhan Omar says she's being targeted and silenced. Senators John Kennedy and Rand Paul respond by asking a harder question. When you hold power in America, do you believe in the country you're serving? This isn't a clip about anger or insults. It's about worldview, gratitude, and what leadership actually means. And before we dive in, like this video, subscribe to Uncensored News, and make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments, because your voice matters just as much as theirs.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place. And then I hear Representative Omar say, oh, America's a terrible place. I'd love there to be justice, and there's no justice here. And it's like, well, she came here and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care. And then, lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia, and I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
Representative Ilhan Omar. Of a really great state. I almost won, for the first time in decades and decades, Minnesota. Obviously and importantly, Omar has a history of launching vicious anti-Semitic screeds.
CARE was founded after 9/11. Because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties. So you can't just say that today someone is looking at me strange, that I am going to try to make myself look pleasant. You have to say, this person is looking at me strange, I am not comfortable with it, I am going to go talk to them and ask them why.
I think I know what the president meant, and he clarified later and said, look, if you're not happy in America, leave. Just leave. And I agree with that. But his original articulation of that concept, in my opinion, fell short of the mark. Number two, frankly, I don't know why the president felt the need to tweet on this subject at all. You know, when you argue with a fool, you just prove there are two. And I consider Congresswoman Omar, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Tlaib, Congresswoman Presley, I think is her name. They call themselves the Squad. I consider them to be fools. They hate America. They think America was wicked in its origins, and it's even more wicked today. They ought to be thanking America instead of calling America evil and wicked and racist. But this is America, and they have the right to their opinion. But I don't like to see the president even dignify their point of view. Besides that, I think that the squad, as they call themselves, they are destroying the Democratic Party. You know, when your opponent is screwing up, don't interrupt him. Let him go. I mean, just looking at this from a political standpoint, if I didn't know better, I would think the members of the squad were GOP plants. I mean, they think that illegal immigration, socialism, higher taxes, abortion are all moral goods. They think America, Israel, free enterprise are moral bads. That's not what most Americans believe. And that's kind of where I am on the subject. The president has explained his position. He has said, look, here's what I meant. If you're not happy living in America, leave. It's a free country, and I agree with that assessment.
John Kennedy's comments cut straight to the heart of this issue. He isn't attacking someone's background or identity. He's challenging an ideology, one that describes America as wicked at its core. That belief matters because ideas shape policy. If you think the country is fundamentally evil, then its laws become suspect, its borders become immoral, and its citizens become complicit. That worldview doesn't lead to reform, it leads to erosion. Rand Paul's remarks landed the way they did because people understood what he was really saying. He wasn't talking about exile, he was talking about perspective. There are places in the world where the rule of law doesn't exist, where rights aren't protected, where power is unchecked. America works because those institutions exist, and most people don't notice them until they're gone. Many immigrants understand this deeply. They didn't come here because America was perfect. They came because it was functional, stable, and free in ways their home countries were not. That's not an insult to where they came from. It's an acknowledgement of reality. When conversations turn toward dismantling systems rather than improving them, Americans start asking legitimate questions. Reform is part of our history. Rejection is not. You can fight injustice without pretending every institution is oppressive. You can defend civil liberties without dismissing security threats. You can criticize the country while still believing it's worth preserving. What we're really witnessing in Washington right now is a philosophical divide. One side believes the American system is the problem. The other believes the system is the solution that needs maintenance, discipline, and respect. As a Republican, I believe America is strong enough to be criticized, but only by people who understand what they're criticizing and why it exists. I believe power should be questioned, but also earned. And I believe leadership requires gratitude for the foundation that made that leadership possible. This isn't about silencing voices, it's about deciding which voices we trust with responsibility. This channel exists because too many Americans feel talked over instead of listened to. I don't want you to just watch and move on. I want you to speak. Tell me what you think. Tell me where you agree or disagree. Washington only hears the people when the people actually talk. If this helped you understand what's really going on, like the video, subscribe to Uncensored News, share it with someone who values thoughtful discussion, and leave a comment below. This platform is how your voice travels farther than you think. Let's keep this conversation honest, and let's keep America worth defending.